Hey guys, it's Jegel. Welcome back to my channel for another Final Fantasy XIV video. As a lot of you know, Final Fantasy has a new expansion releasing in the fall titled Endwalker, and the hype for this game is absolutely real right now. A lot of large WoW content creators such as Bellular and Asmongold have recently decided to try Final Fantasy XIV, and we're seeing a huge surge in new players coming over to join the game as a result. So today, for all the WoW refugees and sprouts out there, I want to talk about picking your starting job, since if you're unfamiliar with the game, it can be a bit confusing if you're not exactly sure what you're looking at or what everything means. So let's go ahead and dive into how the game's job system works. In Final Fantasy XIV, jobs are classes. Several of these classes, or advanced jobs, are gated behind story content or expansions, so there are only a limited number of base jobs to start from. This is not something to fret about, as jobs can be swapped pretty much any time in the game via the push of a button outside of combat and instance content, and you can unlock and change jobs at any time throughout your journey into Final Fantasy XIV. So although choosing a job is a very important decision in a game like FF, it's not something that is going to haunt you or ruin your experience if you don't love the first job you choose. So before we take a look at our job choices, you will need to choose a race. Final Fantasy XIV has 8 playable races to choose from. Each race has 2 tribes or clans or subsets of that race to pick from. You will see on the screen that these clans have substats, but these substats are negligent and basically irrelevant at this point in the game. So we're just making our character to look how you want it to look, and don't worry too much about the numbers stuff. I'm also going to highly recommend changing the backdrop from the default to one that's in a city state. That way you can get a more realistic idea of how your character is going to look in a real in-game lighting type environment. Next, we're going to go ahead and get through all the physical customization stuff, and then we will be met with a couple more choices. The first one is going to be your character's birthday on the Eorzean calendar. This is completely irrelevant. It's for RP purposes and building your character's backstory. It really doesn't matter. Just choose whatever you want. Then we're going to choose your character's patron deity, which is going to be one of the 12 gods of Eorzea. Again, this is completely irrelevant and inconsequential to your character. It's just for RP and whatever you like. I always choose Rhalgr, the god of destruction, because, well, why not? First, we have Gladiator, which is a sword and shield using tank class, which will become Paladin at level 30. They have a very potent heal, as well as a magic-based and physical attack rotation, and is considered one of the best off-tanks in the game for raiding. Pugilist is a melee DPS that uses its fist to inflict damage upon its foes and will become Monk at level 30. Monk is a very strong DPS that has a party-wide buff with short cooldowns that make them very sought after in raids. They also have more ability to negate positional than any other melee in the entire game. Marauder is a two-handed axe-wielding tank class that will become Warrior at level 30. Considered one of the best main tank jobs in the game because its ability to output damage based on how much damage it takes. It is also considered one of the easier tanks to play and highly sought after in raid. Lancer is a polearm-wielding melee DPS that will become Dragoon at level 30. Has lots of jumps to manipulate movement, as well as a raid-wide critical damage buff and a tether called Dragon Sight it can put on another party member to buff their damage. Good utility makes this job also well sought after in raid. Archer is the bow range class, which will become Bard at level 30. It uses songs to buff the party in various rotation based around different procs that occur during the songs. Bard has felt a little undertuned since the last couple patches and one of the less sought DPS classes. However, every group needs a physical range and is still a viable pick if you're interested in the playstyle. Conjurer is the base healer class. Conjurer will become White Mage at level 30. This is one of the best damaging healers in the game. It is a builder spender which charges a Lily Gauge to get free heals and a big damage spell called Afflatus Misery. Thaumaturge is our Wizard or Mage class. It will become Black Mage at level 30. It is one of the biggest damage dealing jobs in the game. However, Black Mages need to move as little as possible to maximize their uptime with their long spellcast bars. So it does require a bit more pre-planning to rotation based on the fight and can have a higher learning curve. Arcanist is the pet class. It is a caster that will become summoner at level 30. Your rotation is based around when you can summon your big pets with a focus on keeping multiple damage over time spells up on multiple targets at once. This is also a very potent damage class and very useful in raid situations. Plus, you get to summon Bahamut, which is just totally badass. So that's it for all the base jobs you can select when starting your journey into Final Fantasy XIV. And guys, like I said earlier, don't sweat it if you don't love the first job you pick. It's totally okay. You can change it anytime, so feel free to go do the unlock quest for several different jobs. Try them out, see what you like, see what feels good, see what doesn't. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day, and as always, stay classy, Eorzea.